taking a bold step toward rationality. It is no secret that Comrade Chris Anu has come under fair criticism both from his friends, opponents, and neutral Ambazonians alike. I, for one, have been very critical of his ever-shifting positions. Needless to go back to those moments of IG Kama Sutra and the buoy incident. Despite all the political charade, Comrade Chris Anu has cemented his place as a fearless Ambazonian anchorman. Even in his lowest moments, he is courageous enough to stand up and ask for forgiveness. Even though Chris Anu might not be a conventional politician or legal enthusiast, his ability to communicate and draw out thirst for knowledge must be saluted. I wish to take this time to thank Comrade Chris Anu for his dedication and passion for Ambazonia. I wish Comrade Chris Anu could free himself from the IG franchise business and fully dedicate himself as Ambazonia's anchorman. Leadership is a very dynamic instinct. You might be a poor economist, but a great painter. Please let us come out massively next time to support Chris Anu and the team in their future presentations. This is a move in the right direction. Thank you, Comrade Chris, for your dedication. Thank you, Comrade Nguambert and Comrade Mike. Above all, I wish to thank Brother Quentin from Ireland for his impeccable presentation. Together, we are stronger. Comrade Lyman. The Rise of Ambazonia Messiahship. Mr. All of You Syndrome. In a normal society, there is specialization and division of labor. Leadership, not self-appointed title holders, develop as a natural necessity to meet the needs of their people. Ambazonians, however, are rare breeds, because many of us were born and raised in LRC. Over the years, we have developed a very dark and perverted concept of leadership. Due to the BIA syndrome, we tend to think leadership means centralizing everything under a leader. This individual will then do everything at all times, jack of all trade, controlling everything and everyone, chewing gums and walking. In the end, we spend years quarreling like old hags, burdened by hemorrhoids. Before you call anyone a leader, ask them this simple question: what are you leading? They will tell you the struggle. The problem arises when you go further to ask them, leading what in the struggle specifically? They go mute. My question to Ambazonians today is simple. Who is leading Ambazonian economic development? Who is leading Ambazonian communication? Who is leading Ambazonia finances? Who is leading Ambazonian self-defense? Who is leading Ambazonian industrialization and scientific development to even win the so-called liberation? Who is leading Ambazonian record-keeping and chronicles? Who is leading Ambazonian mobilization back home? Who is leading Ambazonian mobilization in the diaspora? Who is leading Ambazonian humanitarian efforts? Who is leading Ambazonian legal efforts in the diaspora? Who is leading Ambazonian diplomatic outreach? We have more than 180 countries worldwide. Who is leading Ambazonian logistics? Who is leading Ambazonian culture, heritage, and identity? In the end, this constant talk of power-mongering and infighting is evidence of barrenness, incompetence, and dysfunctionality. We have magicians selling the concept of Amba Messiahship all over. These are jesters with no knowledge of the concept of statehood, deranged with inferiority complex, that have gathered a few surrogates to distract any serious endeavor. This is why I beseech all of us to make ourselves useful and build their community where they live. Like that, we can each play a vital role at our own level with the little time and resources we have. Comrade Lyman.
Pa Poto Poto, the man who transformed mud into hope. At the rugged foothills of Mount Faco, there's a talus, where the earth's bones crumble into a chaotic cascade of stone and soil. A precarious settlement clung to existence. As is common in this unforgiving terrain, a jumbled talus slope had grown into a fragile community. Life here was as simple as it was punishing. Every rainy season, the heavens unleashed a torrential fury, and the barren mountain slopes, stripped of their verdant armor, disgorged violent torrents of mud and debris. Flash floods, rivers of sludge, jagged rocks, and uprooted vegetation would thunder into the settlement, swallowing homes, fields, and dreams in relentless waves of destruction. Lacking the infrastructure to control or deflect nature's wrath, the villagers rebuilt their lives year after year, wiping away the mud with weary resignation, only to brace for its inevitable return. One day, however, a stranger arrived, a quiet, unassuming figure clad in threadbare clothes. He carried little more than a bundle of tools in a raffia bag and a gaze that seemed to see beyond the chaos. He introduced himself to no one, asked for nothing, and offered no explanations. Yet this mysterious newcomer soon caught the villagers' attention with his peculiar actions. Day after day, he carted away the thick, sticky mud that had buried their lives, gathering it without a word of complaint. The villagers, amused by his tireless labor, began pointing out every patch of sludge, jokingly naming him Pa-Poto-Poto, or Father of Mud. His smile never wavered as he hauled the mess away, one back-breaking load at a time. What the villagers did not know was that this enigmatic laborer had come from the distant grasslands. A former plantation worker, he had toiled under colonial masters in the coastal palm, banana, and rubber fields and through that had developed a backbone of cast iron. Having been displaced by younger workers, he had wandered into this beleaguered settlement, drawn by the sight of its disastrous muddy burden. To the villagers, it was a curse. To Pa-Poto-Poto, it was an opportunity. In his own region, mud was a precious but labor-intensive commodity. Here, nature had done most of the work for him. With the right ingredients and some ingenuity, he could transform the very substance of destruction into the foundation of a new beginning. At first, his actions were met with bemusement, even ridicule. But Pa-Poto-Poto was undeterred. Gathering discarded materials, he constructed a series of crude kilns on the village's outskirts, safely away from prying eyes. Through countless experiments, he perfected a mixture of volcanic ash, grated gravel, and the abundant mud, shaping the blend into durable bricks with the right consistency. Villagers marveled as he fired the bricks at searing temperatures, plunging any inflatable debris into the kiln, with occasional orange glow of the kilns illuminating the night like beacons of hope. What had once been a symbol of despair, cold, oozing, and destructive, was transformed into something strong, warm, and useful. The first of Pa-Poto-Poto's bricks was sold humbly and affordably to skeptical villagers. But as the seasons passed and his sturdy bricks withstood the relentless rains, demand grew. Soon, his creations became the foundation of new homes, schools, and gathering places. For the first time, the village began to prosper. The mudslides, once a harbinger of ruin, now heralded opportunity. But not all welcomed this transformation. The so-called educated elite, lawyers, government officials, and administrators, took notice of Pa-Poto-Poto's success. These figures, who had long ignored the villagers' suffering, suddenly saw an opportunity to exploit the man they had once dismissed as a fool for sale. They filed up and accused him of profiting off communal resources without due process and consequently imposed heavy taxes, and branded him a usurper of the public good and people's wealth. Their rhetoric sowed seeds of envy, and whispers of betrayal rippled through the community, affecting the weak-minded. Pa-Poto-Poto, however, met this challenge with his characteristic resilience. In a gathering at the village square, he stood before the people and spoke with quiet conviction. For years, this mud has buried your homes, your fields, and your dreams. I found a way to turn it into something that strengthens us, something that rebuilds our lives. Every brick I sell supports this community. Together, "We've turned disaster into hope." The villagers, who had watched his tireless labor and reaped the benefits of his ingenuity, rallied behind him. They rejected the false claims of the elite, recognizing their jealousy and greed for what it was. United, the community protected Pa Pato Pato and the progress he had brought them. In time, the mudslides continued to descend from Mount Faco with the rains, but they were no longer feared. Thanks to Pa Pato Pato, they were seen as a resource, raw material for building homes, livelihoods, and resilience. His story became a lesson in transformation, that even the most destructive forces can be reshaped into tools for renewal. Yet his tale also carried a warning that success invites envy, and only a united community can safeguard the visionaries who dare to make a difference. Pa Pato Pato's legacy should live on. Pascal Kongs, January 14, 2025.